Okay guys, so I got one more video for you here. This time is on an item that, again, I have not seen a lot of videos about this on YouTube. This is on the Source WXP 3-liter hydration bladder and carrier. This is the Marine Corps ILBE version. This is the version that is issued to the Marine Corps. Now, if some of you have seen some of my other videos, you know that I have been preferring Camelbak for a long time, even though I've had Source bladders with me before. But just recently, about 2 months ago, I received a replacement for the O-ring of the bladder of on my Camelbak, and the problem is that the replacement has been leaking. You can't really tell. The bladder looks perfectly fine, but right about here, it has been leaking water. And the last time I took this bladder with me, I was doing a 14-mile hike where I was left with half an empty bladder, and all of the water had leaked into my backpack. It got everything wet, and this was literally within the first 30 minutes of the hike. So I had to tough it out and finish the hike with a single bottle. When I got back, I thought, well, I need a new bladder. And I started looking around, and you've seen my other video, you know that I used to have a Source, or I had a Source WXP 3-liter bladder, but I ended up giving that one to a friend because he really liked it, and I thought I wouldn't need it. So I started looking around, and I decided to give Source a try again. I contacted Camelbak to ask them when their new bladders were going to be available, because I really liked them and I wanted to give it a try. So they told me, they got back to me and they told me it will be on summer. And well, spring just started, so that means it will have been another 3 or 4 months, and then I have to wait for the bladders to be sent out to retailers, and then even then I need to wait for the retailers to start posting the new bladders. So I'm talking about probably 5 to 6 months of waiting period. So I decided to give Source a try again, and I started looking around, but I found this really good deal on eBay. It was a bidding that I ended up winning. Somebody was selling the Marine Corps hydration bladder Reservoir, and I ended up getting it for about $60, which is about $20-30 less than the original price. And it was brand new. It came in brand new packaging. You can see the tag is right here. It hasn't even been worn out. It's perfectly fine. Now, also, the reason why I decided to get the Marine Corps issue version is because it doesn't have the tag of Source. I mean, you can see it on the cap. I don't know if the camera can catch that, but it doesn't have the logo, which I prefer that way, because yeah, I just like more clean looking, streamlined models. So yeah, so I ended up getting it, and so far I really liked it because it's simple, it works, gets the job done. I do know that there are better options for hydration carriers up there probably, and some of you might not like it. It has all the features that Source bladders have that I like, you know. But I did ended up having a problem, and I did not realize this until I had paid for the bid. The problem was that this carrier was designed a while ago, about 6-7 years ago. So it does not have the most recent Source bladders. It has some of the older models, which is not a big deal. But well, that wasn't the reason why I went with Source. I decided to go with Source because currently their current models have features that you won't find on the Camelbaks. And with this one, well, it doesn't have that. Now, it's a great carrier, and I really like that. I like how you're able to use these clips to attach it directly to a MOLLE vest. I like the handle. I mean, I think it's designed on a similar concept as some of the previous Camelbak military model backpacks. I think it's based on the thermal backs and on the armor backs. And I really, I think it's a very functional model. But again, there were some issues. Now, the the shoulder straps I think are great. They're really comfortable. They get the job done. They're simple. I like that the chest harness doesn't have a elastic. If anything, for this kind of backpacks, I think it does a good job of just keeping it simple. It's something that is less likely to worn out. All the buckles that they use, the regular ITW Nexus buckles, is made in the USA because it's the military issue kind. It doesn't have a waist belt, which is not really a big issue, but I kind of wish it did. In the color, the coyote brown is something that I prefer. Oh, also the reason why I got the carrier is because, well, I play a lot of paintball, and I like being able to carry the 3 liters of water with me whenever I can. Now, the other features that I really like about this is that if you take away this shoulder harnesses, you unbuckle them. There's a pocket right here, very similar to the Camelbak thermal bags, where again you can do the simplest thing of just store it away, get that out of the way, close the compartment with a little Velcro, and then right here there's more space for you to put this away, which I think is great. You know. Now what you're left off is a much more streamlined design that it can very easily fit inside a backpack. And also the neat feature about this that it has an easy access compartment right here. Also, this is insulated. This whole compartment has insulation that will allow you to keep the water cool for longer periods of time, which again I think is great. To demonstrate, I have my Camelbak, my Tiger Lightspeed. What I've been doing so far is stowing this in the hydration compartment, or pocket right here. And there you go. You know, very simple, very clean. Still allows me a lot of space. Obviously, when it's full of water, it tends to be bulkier. And I will recommend you that if you're going to do this, this better be the first thing that you put in your backpack. Otherwise, you're gonna have some trouble getting in there. And then another handle makes it easier to get it out. Again, really cool. Also fits in my Mr. Ranch 3-day assault backpack. So overall, I was very satisfied with the backpack itself, with the carrier itself. What I wasn't satisfied with was the bladder. Now let me explain. If you open it here, you'll see that this is the older model. Let me disconnect this just to get it out of there. What you do is you disconnect the tube, get it out of the top, and then you undo the cap, and then you start unscrewing this. It's very simple. It's again very similar to the Camelbaks, and then you get it out. Now, this is the older model, and you might notice one of the things is that the connection thing here at the top, at the bottom, has this little plastic to protect the bladder because this is really bulky. You see how much it stands up. And then the other problem that I had was that, look closer, there's this tubing right here that it really worries me that it's going to start leaking and it's gonna come off because it moves very easily. Could probably get it off. Yeah, so I started looking at this and started having concerns. Plus, this started coming off. Yeah, so. And then to make things a little more disappointing, it doesn't have the handle that the regular source bladders come with. I thought that wouldn't be a problem, but then I started finding myself trying to fill this from a water tap, and it was kind of difficult to hold this like this with a full bladder. But besides that, it still has all the great features that source bladders have. It has a lot of it's a high quality bladder, no doubt about it. But then again, the other problem with the hose is that the bite valve is the older model, the storm valve, which it wasn't really a big problem, but after trying it, it's not my favorite. I find it really difficult to control the water flow. Like, I will end up with a mouthful of water, but then try to close this with my teeth or my mouth. It's a little more complicated than I wanted to. I do think that I think it's cool that it has a feature that you can lock it. If you twist it this way, it's locked. You won't open at all. But if you twist it this way, it will unlock and then you can open it. Now, the valve wasn't really that big of a problem. I thought I would get used to it, and I kind of did. But the problem that I have is that this is not a quick disconnect, which is a feature that most modern Camelbaks have, most modern hydration bladders have. So that started bothering me a little bit. And then the tubing, the insulation that they use for the tubing is only glued on at one end, which is not a big problem, but then it worries me that over time this is going to start moving out of place, and I'm afraid that it might come off. Now that wasn't really a deal breaker, but the reason why I went with a source bladder is because I thought I would get a modern source bladder. So what I did is just I decided to buy a new bladder, a new source hydration bladder. Oh, and one more thing before I forget, the carrier has a zipper right here at the top that allows you to get to the top of the pull tab without having to get it take it out of the backpack. You can probably just fill in like get it full of ice or whatever you want to throw in there. Now, I bought a new bladder from Tactical Distributors. I ordered it from them, and I got the package this morning. But because this time I decided to go back and try to get the old school, the newer style Helix valve. I like this valve a lot better than the Storm valve, because I think you can control the water flow better. I like the locking mechanism better, the twist, untwist. Still not my favorite. I still prefer Camelbaks, but of the two, I think this one is the better one. I also ordered in black, because this way you can see the insulation is much more civilian friendly. I can put this inside a regular civilian backpack and it wouldn't call as much attention. It's a more, I guess, tactical brown color wool. Now the biggest difference between the modern ones, as you can see, is the newer models is the quick disconnect at the bottom. The newer one has the quick detachment. Both of them will seal the water. The water won't escape from them. But you can see the big difference of this bulky thing and this almost much more lower profile directly attached to the bladder, and I really like that. Also, you can see how new this bladder is. The folds are still there. Also, I think it's the marine version, doesn't have this pull tab. This is what I was talking about. This pull tab allows you to hold it like this while you fill in it full of water. This one doesn't have it, and it just made it a little more difficult. Besides that, the bladders are practically identical. Actually, yeah, they're just the exact same bladder. And then I wanted a coyote brown hose, so I also ordered one. I ordered a replacement. Again, unlike the older model, as you can see, this one has the quick disconnect at the top. And unlike the older one, this one is glued at both ends. This is the marine version, it moves. Eventually this is gonna come off, I know it. This one stays. I think it's a better job. Now, I thought that the newer ones will work with this older version, but turns out they don't. See? You don't get the click noise. There. See? And I got the Coyote Brown, so I can use it with a newer bladder. Now, the other thing I like about source bladders is that you can replace all the parts on them. Okay, before I get to that, I'm gonna have to stop the video right here, guys. I'm probably gonna continue on the second part. Sorry about that.